The Summer I Turned Pretty 3 has people looking forward to who Belly walks up to on the aisle among the Fisher brothers, and we've gathered some reasonable evidence of why Belly will choose Conrad instead of Jeremiah. Season 3 of The Summer I Turned Pretty is littered with clever Easter eggs, and each one pushes us toward the endgame, starting with the musical Bye Bye Birdie, where the primary love interest is Conrad, and on the back of Belly's door is the poster of Bye Bye Birdie that reveals that Conrad is the preferred love interest in the show, but that's not the only interesting hidden detail that favors Conrad over Jeremiah. In case you don't already know, the Fisher brothers now have their colors as figured out from the trailer of season 3, where Conrad is red and Jeremiah is daylight. And guess who has been getting wrapped in red? Belly. She was seen wearing red in one of the promo pictures for the show and has continued to glow in red, as evidenced by her wearing red sunglasses to answer Conrad's phone call to Jeremiah. Belly had a red PJ on in the scene where she fell from the staircase and was with Conrad. She also wore a red jacket with stripes after her fight with Jeremiah over the affair he had, which shows that even her wardrobe agrees with Conrad. The promo poster also contains hidden messages about why Conrad is the endgame, as revealed by the Sabrina poster reference. The 1954 film Sabrina features Audrey Hepburn, Humphrey Bogart, and William Holden in a love triangle, much like the main cast of The Summer I Turned Pretty. However, their position in the picture shares even more insight about Belly's final choice. In Sabrina, Hepburn ends up with Bogart on the left, not Holden, who is kissing her. The person depicted kissing on the show's poster is Jeremiah, which already hints at an ending that many people will find satisfying. Then there's the Christmas Day crossword with the clue, P.S. I blank love you. Looking closely at the crossword, a reference from one of Jenny Han's novels, you'd notice Conrad had already filled in but erased the word still. Additionally, the puzzle book features a reflection on the table that forms an infinity sign, which serves as an incredible Easter egg, hinting at how they are meant to be together forever. Belly filling in still is tying her enduring feelings directly back to Conrad, not just as a fun reference, but as a hint at their lasting bond. Even the Sour Patch Kids wrappers are carefully placed in season 3. This is a reminder of Jeremiah and Conrad's argument about whether Belly prefers Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish. It's one of those moments that reveals their shared feelings for Belly, and placing the candy wrapper in season 3 is a way to revisit one of the emotional turning points among the three. The infinity sign created by the puzzle book is also a notable detail that highlights the show's purpose, particularly about Conrad and Belly's relationship. The concept of infinity in Conrad and Belly's relationship represents a timeless, unbreakable love that goes beyond conditions. It was never about having the perfect relationship or chasing constant happiness. Instead, it's always been about a deep, steady connection that survives even the harshest moments, such as silence, distance, heartbreak, and the growing pains they've endured. No matter how many people come into their lives or how much time passes, something about them always leads them back to each other. They can pretend and move forward separately, but it never lasts. Their bond isn't built on convenience or timing. It's built on knowing each other in a way no one else ever could. It's the kind of love that doesn't need to be spoken aloud daily because it's written into who they are. It's been a part of Belly's childhood dreams and Conrad's quiet yet meaningful gestures. The concept of infinity in their story means they will survive all the fights, breakups, and years apart. With Conrad and Belly, infinity doesn't mean perfect. It just means forever. Even if they aren't together every moment, the love doesn't disappear. Infinity has always existed since they were young, and it was established when Conrad explains infinity to Belly by comparing it to a racetrack.
Imagine it's a racetrack. You see how there's no starting or ending point? You could travel endlessly around those curves. Goes on forever. That's infinity.
This point in their childhood is a significant nod to the fact that they can travel around but will always be connected, and Jeremiah asking Belly to marry him will never erase that. It won't rewrite history, the bond, or the love that has been rooted in them since the very beginning. In the show, it becomes even more obvious how Belly and Conrad naturally fall into a rhythm together, the kind that doesn't have to be forced. From the first season, their connection has always been marked by unspoken glances, lingering looks, and a sense of understanding that comes naturally. Even when they aren't speaking, a weight in the air between them feels impossible to ignore. Chemistry like that doesn't just happen with everyone, and it's not something you can convince into existence. On the other hand, Belly and Jeremiah share a more friendly and safe space dynamic. They laugh a lot, sure, but their moments don't have the same intensity or depth. In season 3's first few episodes, their scenes often feel awkward, as if they're both trying too hard to convince themselves it's more than friendship. Moments like Jeremiah reaching for Belly's hand or trying to kiss her feel hesitant, almost like he's waiting for her reaction to tell him if it's right. But with Conrad, Belly never looks unsure. Chemistry matters, especially in a story about first love and forever love. Jeremiah might be fun and easy, but Conrad brings out Belly's quiet, serious heart, the side of her that wants to be truly seen. Even with Conrad being so far away, the accidental phone calls Belly receives from him feel so intense, as if she's managing to hold together the chemistry they share and convincing herself that Jeremiah is a more stable choice. But is Jeremiah really a safe choice? Many people would have agreed in the earlier seasons, but picking a fight and cheating twice doesn't cut it and automatically disqualifies him from being labeled the safer or more stable option. No matter how sweet Jeremiah seems on the surface, dating Belly has exposed his unforgettable flaws. He's already shown a pattern of being unable to handle conflict without sabotaging something important. That's not the kind of trait you want in the person you choose for your forever. Meanwhile, despite all his flaws, Conrad is stepping up to be the mature brother for Belly. He stepped aside for Belly because he thought it would make her happier, not because he stopped loving her. Despite being far away and having every opportunity to move on with someone like Agnes, he still can't fully bring himself to let Belly go. That says a lot. Conrad is struggling not because he wants to play games, but because letting go of Belly is genuinely painful. His actions come from love, not confusion. Jeremiah's mistakes appear premeditated. They're red flags that are no longer consistent with why Belly chose him. Picking a fight, cheating twice, and still asking to be married while Belly's brother is in the hospital shows he was never really ready. That kind of recklessness is already setting him up to fail. Belly deserves someone who knows her worth without needing to risk losing her first. And if Jeremiah can be forgiven for cheating on a break he caused, then Conrad can be accepted despite his years of depression and instability. Also, the Fisher characters are written to either fail or succeed with Belly, and Jeremiah has it the worst in season 3, which means there's no other redemption waiting. However, Conrad was always portrayed as a character who demonstrates how depression and grief can influence a person's actions rather than their heart. From the start, his mistakes, beginning with pulling away, the mood swings, and the behavior change, were never rooted in not loving Belly. They came from carrying the weight of his mother's illness, the pressure of trying to keep his family together, and the fear of losing everything he loved. His mental health struggles were never meant to define him as a person. They were there to remind us that sometimes people lash out or shut down, not because they don't care, but because they care too much and don't know what to do with that hurt. That's why it matters that Belly sees past his walls. She's the one who knows who Conrad is underneath it all, the boy who leaves notes in books, who remembers the candy she likes, who drives through the night to make sure she's okay, the one who stays quiet not because he's cruel, but because he's scared to mess it all up. His bad days don't erase the fact that he's the one who has always loved her the most. Season 3 leans into this truth. It's not painting Conrad as irreparable, it's showing he's healing. And in that healing, Belly can finally see the difference between someone who has made mistakes and someone who is sabotaging everything. Belly continues to yearn for Conrad in ways she can't always articulate, but it's evident. In the quiet moments when she gets to reflect alone, we can see it in how her eyes soften whenever his name is mentioned, making it clear where her heart truly belongs. Even when trying to convince herself she's happy with Jeremiah, this force is always pulling her back to Conrad, and it's not something she can control. What Belly wants isn't more complicated laughs or playful moments. What she wants is the kind of love that feels like home, and with Conrad, that's exactly what she's always had. He's the one she's written about in her diary, the one she's waited for through summers and heartbreaks. That kind of pull doesn't disappear because someone else is standing before you, offering more straightforward answers. Jeremiah and Belly start season 3 as lovers, but won't get a happy ending. Their relationship and proposal is the setup. It's what makes the eventual return to Conrad even more meaningful. Sometimes you must try the wrong thing to recognize that the right one has been waiting for you. The show needed to take Belly through this journey to let her see that friendship isn't enough and chemistry can't be forced. Belly will be taken away from Jeremiah, but the show is setting him up to find another love interest, possibly with a new character to give Belly and Conrad an ending without guilt. Jeremiah is the stepping stone, while Conrad is the final destination.